you're sitting down.
Yes.
Large scale population movement and resettlement.
Wow, that sounds scary. And it sounds like it has to do maybe with the open border situation happening right now.
But it's with us as well.
Wow.
That they are going to start practicing moving us out of our homes and resettling us other places like the FEMA camps
Oh my
and
gosh. They're just going to say, you
population.
got to leave, you got to leave, you got to leave your home and go to the FEMA camp instead. Go to this concentration
Yes.
camp.
Yeah, because of climate refugees or whatever their excuse is going to be. It may be a pathogen. It may be just it's a green order that they have decided that, you have to resettle and relocate. What I learned in the 1990s, I have this book called The Holocaust Chronicles, and it goes month by month in the Holocaust. And I was reading this. It's very easy, lots of good pictures in it if you want to get that as a
Yeah.
reference book. But the United States was passing the same laws with the same name on the same day as the Nazis did in during
That's
the
right. That's
1990s.
wow. That's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, that's where NDAA came from, and many of
Mhm.
the tyrannical Patriot Act and those types
Right.
of things came from. And they were actually used the Nazi names on the same day. So there's this ritual about it. So
Mhm.
not good. Then there is mitigating social isolation and loneliness. That means so we've already hit this from 2020. People have started dropping over dead. And so there's a lot of us that are living by ourselves in
Right.
isolation.
Yeah.
And that is probably going to be a crime in the future. They're either going to tell me that I have to move out of my home. I'm already hearing in articles and reading stuff that says I'm depriving young people of owning a home because I'm living in this house.
By
So what
yourself.
by myself.
Wow.
So they're going to help me out, and I'm going to have to take in 25 or 40 families into my house
Wow.
to offset this social isolation. And it will be a crime to be lonely. They want to get into your brain. Um,
Wow. That's so scary. And they
yeah,
probably will make the case for it with different articles and propaganda and saying how it's inequitable to own a home when if you're just by yourself, when there's all these people that would better be fit for a home, like a family or this and that, or migrants. I mean, that's crazy. Wow. So we got to
yeah.
start looking in the news for things like that, for propaganda leading us in that direction.
And not to mention, watch the FEMA exercises as these roll out in your local area, because there's county exercises, there's state exercises, and then there's the federal exercises. So you really kind of have to keep your eye. We all have to keep our eye because these are new. These are new exercises that have never been done before. So we really need to network and share with each other both what happens during those exercises and if there's any repercussions from them. So, like, does it go live? Because in
Yeah.
every exercise, there is an element that goes live, every
Right.
single one. So, you just need to know that. Okay, so then there's a response to the opioid crisis.
Mm.
And I wasn't really sure what this meant until I was going through my journals, go through 150 journals, each with 50 studies every week. I really should go through it twice a week, but I don't have
Hmm.
enough time. They are going to start giving everybody opioid vaccinations.
Opioid vaccinations.
Yes.
Wow.
So if you take an opioid, it will do nothing. It will not kill your pain. It won't do
Oh
anything.
my gosh.
It's
That's
going to
crazy.
neutralize it. Yeah. But it's another way. So what else is in that vaccine? I mean, I just saw this, so I haven't had time to dig into it. And most of us can't even get opioids. The only people they're really giving opioids to are people in hospice. And I know that my sister knows somebody that died of cancer, and he wasn't given anything, and he writhed for 3 months in pain. And I think what the nurses or whoever was taking care of him, I think they were selling it on the street, and then he was left to just fend for himself. So we just
Probably.
really don't know.
Wow.
Okay, so enhancing supply chain resilience. Translated, this is the new World Economic Forum supply chain. All the old things that we're familiar with, the old soap products, our favorite jeans, everything
Yeah.
is going to be different. It's all going to be green. It's all going to be sustainable in
Gosh.
their eyes. It will have bad frequencies. It's going to be bad for us, but just realize that that is where we're going. Is this they're taking out the old supply chain? That's why we saw all the manufacturing plants being destroyed and stuff, because they're bringing in this new supply chain.
And their new creation, like you know, their creation, which means something very, very detrimental and harmful to us.
Yeah, it's a synthetic virtual twin, and
Wow.
everything will be digital. Recovery, it's going to be translated that the only people that are going to experience recovery is if you go into the matrix and basically allow yourself to be killed to save the planet. So those are the people that will be given the money. Now they've got two more in this particular this set of 10 exercises. One is your community profile. So once again, we're driving down into the local community, which is not going to be a safe haven for you any longer.
Mm.
They're getting the UN is getting their meat hooks into the locals, and unfortunately, our locals, our states, and of course the feds are
Mm.
allowing it. So it's going to be very dangerous. It's going to be infiltrated, and you need to prepare for the day when your community becomes a war zone, because that is rapid. This is like, it might happen this year. It
Wow.
will happen this
Crazy.
year.
Wow.
Okay, the last one is the most scary.
Okay.
Okay, this is
I'm bracing myself.
yeah, this is on reunification. And reunification, the whole concept came about during Hurricane Katrina when children were separated from their parents.
Wow.
And what happened after Hurricane Katrina is a bill was introduced to Congress that said, in the event of a nuclear exchange, that if your children were at school, this could be daycare, it could be ballet, it could be school, it could be high school, it could be college, whatever, that if you went to go pick up your children, they would not be released to you. They would not be released.
Wow.
And
What the
so
heck?
it passed.
Mm-hmm.
But if you know anything about our process, is that the original bill language is nothing like the language at the end. And so it got changed. So in the event that the environment is not safe, your children cannot be released to you, because you are transferring custody of your child to that person. And right now, quite frankly, because of the UN and the United States' declaration that there is a climate change crisis, your children, you might take them to wherever you're taking them to and not be able to get them back. You
Who
need to understand that and take preventative action.
who would they go to? Where would they go instead of
So
you of
this
the parents?
this has been beta tested. There was a huge snowstorm right after this got passed in Seattle, and they kept the kids for 4 days. The next one, I was just talking on another show, and I didn't realize that he lives in Denver. They did this and beta tested it in Denver, and they took a whole lot of kids in Denver to the whatever dome it is, like where the football games are played. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah, like
Astrodome
a
or whatever
stadium.
it is. Yeah, a stadium. And they kept them there, and the parents were furious,
That's
absolutely
crazy.
furious. But
And
nothing.
who's they? Like who would it be? CPS? Would it be
This isn't
government officials? I mean,
this is
FEMA?
FEMA,
Okay.
government officials, everybody, because this was passed by Congress. Now FEMA and I'm sure Red Cross would be involved. And once your children are there, are they going to get vaccinated? What's going to um,
Wow.
during Hurricane Katrina, they put all those people in that dome down down south, and they did not give them food, they did not give them water, and they did not give them any medical treatment, and they turned the cameras on and watched them go Mad Max. That's what they
That's
did. So
crazy experiment. Wow.
So they
And they're
already
bringing it to
know,
us.
yes, they're bringing it to our children. So you need to be very careful. And I don't care how much, you say, I'm a big, tough person. I'm going to go get my kid and drag him out. No, you're not. Most of the schools in America now are armed fortresses. There's guards, there's bulletproof glass, Columbine and all the others, Sandy Hook and all that, did their stuff. And now it's not easy to get into a school.
Hmm.
And I don't think that you would be able to unless, well, we won't talk about such things about our options on air because
Yeah.
we don't have any options.
Right.
So anyway, so that's the one that really is,
That's frightening.
yeah. And remember Hillary Clinton saying it takes a village to raise a
Of
child.
course. That's by
And
design.
so that's always been their goal, to grab
Yeah.
our children. And look at, they've been doing a fine job of indoctrinating them as it is.
Yeah.
Wait till they just get them away from us and out of our clutches, out of the parental and grandparents and great grandparents control, out of the normal family. So,
That's so
uh,
crazy. I mean, that for the test run, it was 4 days. They'll see what it's like for 40 days with children away from parents and then just keep stretching it out.
I think that started to look up, but I got busy. I think that Denver one was for a week.
Wow. That would be terrifying as a parent. Terrifying. That's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah, yeah. I would have been one of those parents that would have
Yeah,
taken it
of
so
course.
late,
How do I
but
get them away? That's insane. Okay, wow. So those are the 10 new FEMA exercises that nobody else has heard of yet.
but we've got a few more things that
Okay.
might be startling to you. So
Yes.
FEMA and the Rosalyn Carter Institute for Caregivers did a webinar in January, and they are teaming up. So this is the caregivers. Now you need to understand Hurricane Katrina was pivotal. It had like 20 different objectives.
Mm.
And one of the objectives is before that storm ever hit the coast, they went in, or the caregivers euthanized their patients, and there was no outcry. You can find it on the New York Times. There was one article written, there was no public outcry, and now that is the standard. In a disaster, you can euthanize. In California, if you have dementia or Alzheimer's and you have two doctors that say you have Alzheimer's or dementia, you can be put down like a dog.
Wow.
So this Rosalind Carter Institute for Caregivers, watch out, caregivers, you might be asked to euthanize or ordered or conscripted to euthanize your patients to save the planet.
To save the
So,
planet. Yeah. Wow.
not to save the planet.
That's frightening.
Next thing we're going to talk about is we're going to get in. They have a new disaster game. It was developed by Region 8 and I Thrive. It is to get into the mental health and well-being and brains of our teenagers. And
Wow.
of course, kids love gaming, so they're going to just flock to it. I'm sure it's
Oh,
very
yeah.
what, all the kids are going to want to do it, and we're going to have to keep them away because what it's doing is metricing out how are their brains operating, what are, how are they thinking, that type of thing. And that's